Now, questions, Q&A time. What questions can I answer for you? Let's go to the Q&A box. All right, we've got a few in here. Looks like there was a lot of discussion between folks. All right, let's go to the top here. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question about uploading a spreadsheet to custom audience. And not all of them have, phone numbers. So it's still Facebook will pick up their profiles without phone numbers, just on the names and addresses.
You're going to do one spreadsheet with phone numbers and another spreadsheet with email addresses.
Where to get those?
Any data source that you typically would think of. So first and foremost, you should be able to get all that data from your title company for free, or your title rep. They should be able to give you all the telephone numbers and email addresses that they have for a neighborhood. And that you should be able to get that for free. Any good title rep can do that. If your title rep can't do that for you, go get a new title rep. Okay. Two, there's a lot of different information sources out there. So there's the Red X. There's Cole Realty Resources. What are some other ones? The Red X. Oh, Prospect Plus, I believe it's called, or My Prospect Plus. One thing that's coming out on the market really soon, unless it already did, is a platform from Land Voice, a company called Land Voice, where they actually will allow you to draw lines around a map, like around a neighborhood. And then it will actually pull, from what they've said in their beta testing, it pulls up to a 95% match rate on even cell phone numbers. So I'm really excited to see about that. Now, any one of these tools costs you money, right? It costs you a monthly service, like a monthly subscription, because it's a software thing. But those are some examples, but basically a data platform. But I would first and foremost start with your title company, because they should be able to give it to you for free.
And I also doing door knocking in my farm. So any good script, how to get phone numbers, email addresses?
If you're doing door knocking, and you're willing to do that, that will work really well combined with this, because they're going to be seeing you on a postcard if you do it. They're going to be seeing you, especially on the videos, and then you're in person, at their door. What I would suggest is running a video for a week to a micro farm before you go door knock. So then when you door knock, first off, a ton of people are going to recognize you immediately, right, from the video. And then two, they're going to be way nicer to you, right? Because they might probably already be nice to you. I don't know. But you're going to get a lot less rude people, I should say, right? Because they'll be like, oh, yeah, you're so-and-so. I see your videos on Facebook all the time. But the same thing to find those telephone numbers for those neighborhoods. Same thing, title company or a data platform. I'm really excited to test out Land Voice's new offering, because if it's as good as they've said it could be, then this will be the number one tool to do for this. Is just go in there, draw a map around a neighborhood, and get cell phone numbers.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Keenan, the two spreadsheets you mentioned, if they are entered separately, how do they combine? When you're running an ad, when you're setting up a new ad and running it as a video view ad, under ad set, so there's 3 steps. You're creating a new ad on Facebook, a new campaign, ad set, ad. Step 2, ad set. Within that step, you select the audience of who you're going to target. And in that audience, in that area where you select the audience, instead of selecting a geographical audience or a city or an area, you're going to select custom audiences. And the custom audiences are going to be your 2 spreadsheets. And you can select multiple custom audiences. So you'll just select those 2 spreadsheets, and they'll be the audience that you run it to. Charles, Andre, you mentioned a topic of market updates for the video view ad. Can you suggest additional topics? Yeah, market update is a good one once a month. So there's 1 video a month right there automatically, right? So if you want to do 1 video per week, let's say if you're only doing 2 videos per month or 1 every 2 weeks, then you only need 1 other topic. But if you're going to do 4 per month, which I would do 4 per month, market update, local events, like let's say farmers market, music music festival, something going on. It's just some sort of a local community event. Okay. Another one is a business highlight or a business interview. So interviewing the owner of a local boutique coffee shop, boutique store, just a local business, maybe even highlighting one that has, a plumber, an electrician, just highlighting somebody and telling folks, hey, I really recommend you call so and so if you have any plumbing needs, or I really recommend you call so and so if you have any plumbing needs or lawn mowing care or whatever. I mean, there's 1,001 home services that people need help for. It's actually a valuable service to go out and find somebody that you endorse and recommend and interview them for 2-3 minutes about their business and then run that as a video view ad. Plus, you're helping somebody else, right, succeed, which people will see you doing that, and that will put you in a great position, right? Put you in a great light. So those are 3 topics. And another thing that you can do as a topic is actually like what's happening with the city planning department. So the city, any city or council is city council is constantly they're updating. So let me back up. Somewhere there's a website for your city with a planning department where they have to make up public updates on what's happening with their zoning plans, their vision for the city, updates. It's somewhere on a website for every city in America. Go there, look at those maps, charts, updates, and you can take the content from there that's updated monthly and do an update video on what the city of St. Petersburg is doing this month and what's happening with the 5, 7, 10 major projects. So those are just some examples of topics. Michelle says 50 home sales per year. If that was the formula, if I remember, and I was just giving you a hypothetical example of, if a neighborhood had 50 homes sold that year, how would you calculate it? Michelle asked that we go back to the microfarming full screen. I was taking notes and missed it. I can do that.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay, cool. Norm asks if the neighborhood is more than 1,500 homes, is that a problem? Back when I was doing just the postcards before video view ads and custom audiences came along, that was because I wanted to really tightly control my budget. Now that we do the video view ads and it's $1 a day to $2 a day, right? That's super cheap. It's not as much of a problem anymore. Just keep in mind that if you're going to do the postcard too, it's going to cost you more in that first month to get that microfarm off the ground because you're going to be printing and mailing to that many more homes. But if you're not going to be doing the postcard part and just going to do the video view ads to that microfarm as a custom audience, right, the way I just showed it to you, you can go 2,000 homes, 3,000 homes is actually fine. Just keep in mind you won't get away with doing it for $1 a day. You might need to go $2-3 a day per microfarm. If you're doing a 3,000 home microfarm, it'll need a few more bucks per day to really saturate that market. Trina, is this microfarming section separate from the sphere of influence database section? Yes, you want to think of them as 3 different strategies. I've given you 2. I'm about to give you a third one. You want to think of them as three distinct plays in your playbook, but eventually you're going to be running all 3 plays at the same time. And they're evergreen plays where they run evergreen 24/7, 365 with very little manual work needed. You're just going to be uploading a video once a week or so to keep things going. Greg asks EDDM. It's every door direct mail. It's provided by the post office service. Linda asks, EDDM is mixed with a lot of paper ads from companies like Del Taco. How successful is that? I don't even look at that bunch. I throw them away. Postcards via EDDM, 6x9, 8.5 by 5.5 postcards have been pretty successful. They get delivered and folks look at them. I think, Trevor, I showed the postcard. You saw it. Yvonne asks, what was the message on their postcards to get that kind of response? Well, as you saw on the postcard, it was offering the free market activity report. So offering a report of a 6-month report on homes that have sold, are active, or are pending in your market. So you can keep up to date real time on what's happening in your neighborhood. I'm skipping some questions where I've already answered them, like how do you get data, how do you get information. So I'm just going through these questions in the chat box for you folks, but I'm skipping the ones I know I've already answered. Question here. So you are doing 5 videos every other week and spending $5 to $25 a day? No, to launch your microfarms, you're going to do 1 video per microfarm initially, walking through it, so that the background behind you in the video immediately communicates that you're in their neighborhood. After that, you're just running 1 new video per week is what I would recommend. 1 new video per week to everybody in all custom audiences, sphere of influence, database, and your microfarms. And you're doing, I would say at that point, I would prefer you do $3 to $5 a day. And I think $5 a day is what, $150 a month. And so you're running a video view ad to all your audiences 24/7, 365. And it's $5 a day.
Andre?
Yes.
Can you throw that sample postcard up again? Some of us didn't catch it all.
No problem.
Thank you.
Easiest way going to be to do this is just to screenshot it if you can, or just screenshot my slide.
Right.
Yeah, there it is. I'll leave that up while I keep going through questions. I want to get through the questions as quickly as possible. Michelle says, I'm just going to put this out there and say I'm super stoked. This is seriously good. I'm not afraid of video, and this is going to be super easy and effective and cheap. That's exactly right. We have a severe lack of inventory here, so this will be a great implementation in my marketing. I totally agree. Especially in a low inventory market, if you can be the best known agent and thereby getting the most initial contacts, that especially becomes the name of the game in a low inventory market. Tom Lowe asks, how often do we update the microfarm video? So you do the microfarm video where you're walking through the microfarm, I'd say 1 time to launch it. After that, they're just in your general once a week social signaling custom audience sphere, right? Where you're now targeting those microfarm custom audiences as well with that same video that you're running to your sphere of influence into your database. And you're just staying in front of them, staying top of mind. Nick asks, what is the content that the farm will see if you're being seen every day? It's the video that you're running from your sphere of influence in your social signaling campaign from the bullseye. So again, I just gave you a bunch of different topics, right? Just a minute ago, gave you 4 different topics. So they're seeing a variety of topics and content from you, sometimes about real estate, sometimes about somebody else, sometimes with somebody else. You're just staying in front of them. They're not everybody is necessarily going to see you every single day. And what you can do is set a frequency cap in your ads manager, meaning set a frequency cap of like 2, which means somebody won't see the same video more than 2 times, right? And so then therefore you force your $1 to $5 a day to keep getting your video in front of other people on your custom audience. So you can set a frequency cap of how often people will see your videos. And then when you upload a new video the next week or the following week, that everybody resets to 0 and that frequency cap restarts. Alexia, yes. Amy, why do you need to upload the database twice though in Facebook for custom audiences? Because if you put up one spreadsheet with just telephone numbers and email addresses, Facebook tries to match both. So if you have the right telephone number, but you have the wrong email address, Facebook will look at that and say, that doesn't match. Don't show them marketing. Whereas if you do one spreadsheet with just telephone numbers and one spreadsheet with just email addresses, you're going to get a higher match rate for each one individually. So you'll collectively have a larger audience that you'll match up with on Facebook. Because remember, what Facebook is going to do is it's going to go and try to find the telephone numbers and or email addresses that you've uploaded and match them up to Facebook accounts, right? So you're never going to get 100% match rate. But by separating them out, I've found that I generally have a much higher match rate.
Audrey, this is Joanna Fabro. Is this being, I know this is being recorded. Where can we find the recording? We want to review your session.
I'm gonna send this one out via email to everybody. I'm gonna put it up on a landing page for you guys to be able to go to it easily on a page without having to log in for anything. And I'm gonna email this out probably, if not later today, probably tomorrow morning, and just send this out to everybody and get so you guys can review it.
We'll have all the slides on it too.
Yeah, you're just gonna be watching. You're gonna see exactly what you see now.
Thanks, Audrey.
Yep. Stephen asks, have you ever seen or heard of a traditionally strong agent, monthly mailing, etc., copying what another agent is doing using the video ads in a microfarm? No, I haven't heard of that. I'm sure it would happen. They'd also have to understand the fundamental strategy of what you're doing behind the scenes, right? And in step 2, 3, 4, 5, they might see what you're doing with the video and might try to duplicate it, but do they understand what you're doing with the weekly new videos and the custom audiences? And then do they understand with what you're going to be doing in floodgates, which is something I'm going to teach you in part 3. Andy asks, with the custom list, both the email list and the cell phone number list each have to be 100 verified contacts, correct? Yes, that's correct. Your custom audiences need to have a minimum of 100 matched records. I forgot to mention that, but typically that happens by default with any farm size that you find. But a custom audience but good point, Andy. A custom audience needs to have 100 matched records matched up on Facebook for it to qualify as a custom audience. Alexia asks, what's my favorite CRM? What do you think about LionDesk? I love LionDesk. I like LionDesk a lot. I like Follow Up Boss a lot. Those are the two that I think I like the most. Masudar asks, show us how to do a VVA. Not enough time to do that, but you can go and YouTube how to create a video view ad on Facebook, and I'm sure you'll find a ton of tutorials on Facebook that show how to do that. I don't have time to do that here today. I'm just telling you what you need to go do and what you need to go look for. Lou says, ready for the offer. How much? What will you do for that money? And where do we apply? Getting to that in just a second. Yeah, we keep getting a ton of questions. I don't know if I'm able to get through all the questions today just because of how many questions we're getting. I thought I'd get through them faster, but they just keep coming in. So I'll do my best to get through, but I also have to look at my watch and time. All right, where were we? Alexia, please review the list of components needed. Data sheet from title company, postcards, video view ads. What else? Off the top of my head, that's going to be a little too difficult for me to do it right now. Again, without eating up a lot of time. I do want this to be done by 4 o'clock. We're already at 2:45 Eastern time. I mean, you're just going to have, if you're following along and taking notes, hopefully it should be self-explanatory, but it's going to be postcards, video view ads. I mean, okay. Yeah, sorry. I hope you're making a list and going along with it. I don't have a bullet point list in front of me where I can just rattle it off really quickly. Everything I've shown you, though, on the whiteboard is kind of summarized. You need a Facebook account. You need a phone. You need ads manager. You need to have the data you need to have spreadsheets and data. If you're going to do the postcards, do the postcards. You want to have a CRM. You need to have a phone that you can shoot videos on, right? You need to have a budget to spend. All right, let's see if we can't get through a bunch of other questions here real quick and continue. Do you recommend after sending another batch of postcards after the initial run? No, not really, Norm. I think the first one's enough. Maybe one 6 months later, but not nothing where you do monthly the way a lot of times a lot of people tell you to do. This small screen is bugging me, so I'm gonna stop the share and go to my larger screen so I can see the questions better. Okay. All right, found my place. Karen Benefield. No, let me back up. Maria, how often do you update the farm with new people moving into the neighborhood? I'd say once every 6 months. Just see if you can find any new information on it. Maybe once every 3 months. Frank, do you only send the postcard one time? Typically, yes. Just initially in the beginning as kind of like a full frontal assault, right? Video, paper, so something's in their hand. Door knocking, if you're willing to do it, door knock too. You can do that as well. It's basically get as much as you can, a variety of impressions in the first month. Circle prospecting is really good to do at this time too. Except the script that I would follow is just simply saying, hey, this is Andre with ABC Realty. I'm calling because a home around the corner from you sold recently. And I was wondering if there's anything in the world I can do for you. That's the Ricky Caruth script. Ricky Caruth is a very successful agent out of Alabama or Arkansas, one or the other. And that's his prospecting script. So it's a zero sales, just touching base script. But if they're seeing you on video on Facebook and they got a postcard from you, now they're hearing from you on phone, you're just by sheer default displacing any other agent out of that microfarm. And you're going to be the best known agent. Again, the goal is be the best known agent in that microfarm. And then just maintain that presence through your video view ads so that when people need to sell, who are they going to think of? Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters, right? Is the idea. Dennis, are you going to put the postcard in the members area? For my members, I think I will, yes. Ronaldo, I missed the go-to video titles to record. I'll put up a replay. John Stone, on the video view ads to the micro farm, do you ask them to take action on something after the initial video view ad? Good question. Typically not. Typically my social signaling videos, my stay in front of people videos are very low on call to action. I would say at least if you're going to do 4 a month, let's say 1 per week, I would say at least 2 of them are going to have no call to action. Just staying in touch. The other 2, the call to action might be something like, hey, if you're thinking about selling or buying soon, reach out, get in touch. I got a lot of resources ready to help you out. If you know of somebody who's thinking about buying or selling, tag them below this video so they can get this information. That's usually the kind of calls to action that you give your database in your sphere or somebody in your microfarm. You want to give valuable content and then be very low on selling. See, this is back to the commodity tactics stuff I was talking about before. Most marketing tactics that we are given as agents to use have us selling really aggressively because we're trying to get somebody to do something, right? In that point, in that time and space. With this strategy, once you understand that we're in a high ticket market, you're not selling, you're staying in front of people, right? And so because you're staying in front of them constantly, the level of pressure sales that you have to give them to be successful goes way down because you're staying in front of them with valuable content all the time, valuable content, relevant content, helpful content, informative content about their neighborhood or real estate. So then you can a very effective call to action is, hey, by the way, if you know of anybody's thinking about selling or buying a home, just tag them below this video so they can see this. That's all I ask. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. That's it. Because guess what? They're going to see your video tomorrow and the next week and the next week and the next week, right? That's how you sell in a high ticket market. In a commodity driven market, an impulse purchase market, you got to be like, hey, go here and download this and go here and do this and go here and do that, right? Because you're trying to get them to buy right now. That doesn't work so well in real estate, which is why most marketing campaigns fail. Karen asks, thanks, Andre. Are you suggesting we do this in addition to the social signaling campaign? Yes. Steven says, I used to have a 24-hour message phone line. Who offers that now? I know ProQuest Technologies does. Jane French, do you send the postcards once a month? No, just once in the beginning. Michelle Allen, can we do this without the postcard? I realize it will be another touch with the postcard, but it's just another bandwidth I'd prefer not to mess with at the moment. Yes, you can. Kathleen, do you just replace the video each time, as in the old video is pulled down and the new one is up? Yes, that's exactly right, Kathleen. Robert Lane, I suppose there should be a CTA at the end of each video. Is that correct? I think I just answered that. 50% of the videos, no. The other 50%, a light call to action to reach out to you or tag somebody who's thinking about buying or selling. Now, if you're offering an actual tool, like you put together a home seller postcard, a home seller checklist, right? And you're like, hey, this is a handy dandy little checklist you can download and use to prepare your home to sell. Well, then say, yeah, and click on the button below and you can go download it. But you shouldn't do one of those more than once a month. Because again, you're playing the long game. You're just going to be the dominant agent in that microfarm and into your database. You don't care when they need to sell. What you care about is that they think of you first when it's time to sell. That's all you care about. Because you only need 100 people a year to do that in your market for you to probably be making well over $250,000 a year. Right? If you really think about the raw numbers in your market based upon your average price point. For most of you, 100 deals a year would put you well north of $250,000 a year. All right. So you don't need everybody. You just need 150, whatever number of people you need. I know for a lot of you, that's only 30 or 40 transactions a year to hit 250 GCI, right? At an average price point nationally. So really, you only need 40 people to think of you first when it's time to sell. So stop with the roulette gambling nonsense that most marketing strategies have us doing. Pick 5 micro farms, plus your sphere of influence and database. Stay in front of them every day, 365. $1 to $5 a day, and when they need to sell, be the first. You only need 40 people to think of you first. Michelle, Lordy, I need to get a VA to do the postcard stuff like that for me. Terry, wow, just the double spreadsheet alone is worth the 3 hours of the masterclass. Thank you, Terry. Evelyn, if you do 2 spreadsheets, phone and email, it will send to the person twice if both data fields are correct, or just once? Nope, just once, because the frequency cap will affect anybody in the custom audience. So if somebody's phone number and email address matched up from 2 different spreadsheets, the frequency cap will still keep that person seeing your video once or twice. Christy, how do we get a recording of this seminar? I will send it out via email. I think I'm getting almost to the end of the questions here. Tanya, is the objective of the postcard to not look like it's coming from a real estate agent? That's exactly right. It's meant to look like a community platform, a community tool, a community resource. But on the backside, you put in your BRE number, your brokerage name, and anything else legally required to be on there. Stephen, what website landing page does the farmneighborhoodpostcard.com go to? I use something like Lead Pages or ClickFunnels. You send them to a landing page where the only thing on the landing page is an opt-in form for the thing you offered. Free market activity report, home seller checklist, no navigation menu, no nothing else on there. Just a picture of the thing that you offered, or like a graphic headline that matches the postcard headline, an opt-in form for the thing that you offered, and then legally required information at the bottom. Your name, brokerage name, BRE number, that's it. Nothing else for them to click on or go do. That's it. And then pixel it, because you can retarget people who visited that landing page with your social signaling video view ads. Did you say we are going to share the landing page for the microgram URL? No, I didn't, but I just gave you the explanation of what it is. Trina, you only need 40 people to think of you first. Love that. Thanks. Thank you. You're welcome. David, how can we implement the VVA in the pixels? Simplest way is go YouTube it. And you'll find a ton of tutorials on it. Another way is you can go through my social signaling bootcamp where I teach it button by button over 2 days. But I'm not selling anything here today. So that's something you have to go find on your own time in your own way. But you can also just go to YouTube and find tutorials, sift through them, and figure it out. Terry asks, why do you need an opt-in page? We already have their contact info. To show you that they're really who right now is most interested in the sales resource, who right now is most interested in possibly selling, right? They're self-identifying who they are. Can we target buyer leads this way? Yes, you can. All right, that was the last question. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up questions now.